they actually fixed it, which I was surprised.
Let the record show it's 6:02. We'll call meeting to order. Could I have a roll call, Sarah?
Eddie Gopenhauer.
Here.
Linda Barnhart.
Present.
Eric Gall.
Here.
Bettina Norton.
Present.
Tim Lewis. Daniel Gant. Nick Field.
Do we have a quorum? Okay. Let the record show we do have a quorum. Okay, the next item is the approval of the agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
Let the record show that there is an approval by Mr. Goff to accept the agenda, second by Mr. Gokenhour. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Opposed? Motion passed. Do we have anybody to speak under the open governmental procedure? No one here to speak. The next item on the agenda is approval of the meeting minutes.
Yes, ma'am. I have a correction to the minutes, please. I was actually a no vote on the APM residence project.
Okay. Because you weren't here, the phone may have not transmitted it to us, but we will make a correction to the minutes, okay?
Move to approve as amended.
Okay, motion by Mr. Goff, second by Ms. Norton. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the corrected minutes have been approved. We have 4 public hearings this evening. Meadows at Riverside.
Yes, and this is the project where last meeting it was supposed to be on the agenda, so it's here tonight. It's a public hearing for a request for final plat approval. Project's Meadows at Riverside, file 2203-097. The developer's Meadows at Riverside LLC and the engineer is Frederick Seibert and Associates. It's located in the Falling Waters District, tax maps 7 and 11, and parcels 169 and 4. The property is located on the southwest side of Broad Lane and north side of Shell Pit Drive in the Falling Waters Tax District. This project proposes 260 single-family lots on 73 acres to be served by public water and sewer. The final plat meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, therefore staff recommends final plat approval contingent upon receipt of a surety in the amount of $5,599,866 even. Plat to be released upon receipt of the surety.
Okay, do we have anyone to represent the project?
Trevor Frederick, engineer FSA, representing the applicant.
Thank you, Mr. Frederick. This is a public hearing. It's your opportunity to make your comments known. I think at our last meeting, we had some people here who wanted to make comment. They were told that we would have the public hearing again tonight,
The
right?
gentleman that spoke said he'd be back, but his main concerns were with DOH's,
Okay.
I guess, evaluation of what needed to be done to Broad Lane.
Oh,
But he knew it was tonight, and the few people that called about it knew it was tonight as well.
okay,
And it was ran in the newspaper as our backup date.
okay, so we're good.
Yeah.
Okay, planning commission members, first of all, we have no one to comment tonight, so I need a motion to close.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Mr. Gokenhour, second Mr. Goff to close the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is now closed. If they happen to show up, Mr. Counsel, can we listen to them?
It would have to be voted on, to bring it back. The body.
Okay, well,
But, yeah, if they showed up and I'm doing it for now.
yeah, well, you know, since it's the first thing on the agenda, they may be late, I don't know, but I don't want to ignore them if they have comments. Okay, planning commission members, do you have questions or comments?
Hearing none, ma'am, I'm prepared to make a motion.
All right,
If you're ready.
yep,
Make a motion that we accept staff recommendation contingent for final plat approval contingent upon receipt of surety in the amount of $5,599,866 and plat is to be released upon receipt of surety.
Second.
Have a motion, Mr. Gokenhour, second by Mr. Goff, to accept staff recommendation, and that is to grant the final plat approval contingent upon receipt of surety in the amount of $5,599,866. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you, guys. I think if no one shows up by quarter after, I think we're good.
We'll wait till quarter after.
And if you go down and you see people standing at the door, you come back up, right?
Or let them in. This is also another public hearing for a request for final plat approval. Projects Butlers Bridge Phase 4, lots 53 through 65, 84 through 85, 96 through 102, and 127 through 133. The file is 2204-103. The developers Butlers Bridge Land LLC, and the surveyors Roberts Land Surveying. It's located in the Hedgesville District, tax map 37, parcel 27, and is located on the west side of Ridge Road South and 500 feet north of its intersection with Dry Run Road. This project proposes 29 single-family lots on approximately 19 acres to be served by public water and sewer. The final plat meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, therefore staff recommends final plat approval contingent upon receipt of a surety in the amount of $764,084.40. Plat to be released upon receipt of the surety.
Okay, do we have anyone to represent the project?
My name is Clark Botner. I represent Butlers Bridge Land LLC.
Okay. Again, this is a public hearing. Questions or comments at this time, please.
Move public hearing be closed.
Let the record show that there's no one to speak from the public. Have a motion by Mr. Goff to close the public hearing. Second by Ms. Norton. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is now closed. Planning Commission members, do you have questions or comments for Mr. Botner?
There are no questions, ma'am. I go motion, we accept staff recommendation for final plat approval contingent upon receipt of surety in the amount of $764,084.40. That's to be released upon receipt of surety.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion, Mr. Gokenhour, second Mr. Goff, to accept staff recommendation, and that is to grant final plat approval contingent upon receipt of surety in the amount of $764,084.40. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passed.
Thank you.
The next item for public hearing is Dillon Farms.
This is also a public hearing for a request for final plat approval. The project is Dillon Farm Estate, Section 1, Phase 3, lots 1 through 22 and 92 through 219. The file is 2201-016. The developer is SMR Holdings and the surveyor is Roberts Land Surveying. It's located in the Hedgesville District, tax map 28, parcel 1, and is located on the south side of Hedgesville Road, 0.4 miles northwest of Ridge Road. The developer is proposing 50 single-family lots on 10.3 acres to be served by public water and sewer. The final plat meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance. Therefore, staff recommends final plat approval contingent upon receipt of a surety in the amount of $1,461,414 even. Plat to be released upon receipt of a surety and completed developer's agreement.
Do we have anyone to represent the project?
Good evening, Mike Roberts, represent the project.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Again, public hearing, your time for questions and comments, please.
Move public hearing be closed.
Let the record show that there is no comments from the public, and I have a motion by Mr. Goff, and second by Mr. Gokenhour to close public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is now closed. Planning Commission members, how about you? Do you have questions?
Hearing no questions, ma'am, make a motion, we accept staff recommendation for final plat approval contingent upon receipt of surety in amount of $1,461,414. Plat to be released upon receipt of surety and completed development agreement.
Okay, a motion by Mr. Gokenhour,
Second.
second by Mr. Goff to accept the final plat approval and contingent upon surety in the amount of $1,461,414. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Well, we're collecting some big money tonight, aren't we? We're putting it in surety.
Thank you.
The next public hearing is Timberwood East.
Yes, this is another public hearing for a request for final plat approval. The project is Timberwood East Phase 2, lots 17 through 30. The file is 2203-069. The developer is TNC Investments LLC. And the surveyor is Roberts Land Surveying. It's located in the Mill Creek District, tax map 10, parcel 46, and is located on 3 Run Road, 1 mile southeast of its intersection with Middleway Pike. The developer is proposing 14 single-family lots on approximately 7 acres to be served by public water and sewer. The final plat meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, therefore staff recommends final plat approval contingent upon receipt of a surety in the amount of $414,235.20. Plat to be released upon receipt of surety and completed developer's agreement.
Thank you. Mr. Roberts, are you here again?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Public hearing?
Public hearing be closed.
Second.
Let the record show that there is no one to speak. I have a motion by Mr. Goff, second by Mr. Gokenhour to close the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is now closed. Planning Commission members, how about you? Do you have questions?
Any questions, ma'am? I'll make a motion, we accept staff recommendation for final plat approval contingent upon receipt of surety in the amount of $414,235.20. Plat is to be released upon receipt of surety and completed developer's agreement.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Gokenhour, second by Mr. Goff to accept staff recommendation, and that is to grant final plat approval contingent upon receipt of surety in the amount of $414,235.20. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You got it.
Thank you.
That concludes public hearings. The next item is final plat determination, estates at Edgemoor.
Yes, this final plat determination is estates at Edgemoor Phase 1, lots 1 through 19, 50 through 55, and 71 through 89. The file is 2204-115. The developer is ILA Properties, and the surveyor is Roberts Land Surveying. It's located in the Mill Creek District, tax map 14, parcels 15 and 29. This project is located off of Specs Run Road, approximately 3 miles from Winchester Avenue and approximately 3.9 miles from Interstate 81. This final plat proposes 44 single-family lots on approximately 70 acres to be served by private well and public sewer. At the March 2nd, 2022 Planning Commission meeting, the developer was granted an exception to not install sidewalks along Specs Run Road. On August 10th, 2022, County Engineer Doug Smith stated that a review of the above-mentioned project was completed and found to be in compliance with the subdivision ordinance. The final plat meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, therefore staff recommends final plat determination and advertising of a public hearing for consideration of final plat approval at the September 19th, 2022 Planning Commission meeting.
Do we have anyone to represent the project?
Yes, ma'am. Mike Roberts, represent the project.
Okay. Planning Commission members, do you have questions or comments?
Nothing relevant, but there's some weird looking lots there, Mike.
It's a weird shaped piece of property.
Yeah.
There's a lot of deep ravines in that property. So they're trying to
Work within it.
They had a lot of conservation land that they gave because of it. They were deep ravines of flatwoods and so they were.
Ready for a motion?
Yes, ma'am. I'll make a motion, we accept staff recommendation for final plat determination and advertise for a public hearing for consideration of final plat approval at the September 19th, 2022 Planning Commission meeting.
The motion, Mr. Gokenhour,
Second.
second, Mr. Goff, to accept staff recommendation, and that is to consider final plat approval at a public hearing on September 19, 2022. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
Okay, request for preliminary plan, final plat approval, Century 2.
Yes, so this is a request for preliminary final plat approval. The project is Century 2 LLC. The file is 2106-216. The developer is Gregory Hoff, and the surveyor is Greg Gabernetsky. It's located in the Falling Waters District, tax map 7A, parcel 27.14, and is located on Downey Orchard Road, 0.4 miles west of Williamsport Pike. The project proposes the creation of one 2.07 acre parcel, one 4.38 acre parcel, and one 2 acre parcel. Lots 1 and 2 will be served by private well and septic, and lot 3 will be served by public water and private septic. On August 10th, 2022, County Engineer Doug Smith issued a letter of approval stating the review of the above-mentioned project had been completed and was found to be in compliance with the subdivision ordinance. The project is found to be in compliance with the Berkeley County subdivision ordinance, therefore staff recommends approval of the preliminary final plat.
Do I have anyone to represent the project?
Good evening. Yeah, Greg Gabernetsky and Mr. Howe is also here, also the owner.
Okay. Can we do 3 lots on a preliminary final? I thought it was 2.
So, you could make 2 and have a residue parcel, without triggering stormwater management. That number was always in contention because it wasn't a hard number that was in the stormwater ordinance or the subdivision regulations. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but as they've been submitted, if there's been more than 2 lots being created, they've been looked at to see if they would trigger stormwater management at all by the county engineer.
Right.
So it doesn't? It does not trigger stormwater
We
management?
had the note on here because no one wants to ever, on the preliminary final plan, put the size of the house, the area of the house, the area of the driveway, so on and so forth. So when they come in for building permit, they'll have to prove this up, and if they're over individually, then they'll have to do individual stormwater management, which is mainly complying with the MS4 ordinance of the first 1 inch.
They know that.
Okay.
It's a risk that, we don't like it. I don't like it approved this way, but because what ends up happening is when the homeowner shows up in here with the building permit, I'm the one to bear of bad news.
It still kind of rolls with the same understanding as previous with the preliminary final lot creation because it was 2 lots and a residue, and they're just naming lot 3 instead of the residue, if that makes any sense.
So the residue is really the 4 acre lot, or is it a?
I don't know what you would call a
You can call
residue,
anyone
but
on there a residue that you want it to be.
You just didn't name them that way?
Yeah, we just didn't name it that way.
Is there additional property on the sides that Mr. Hall owns?
That's all the property. It's all involved in these lots. There's no other. And to say there's notes on here. I don't know where Doug's coming from, but you just got to let these people know when they're buying these that what the circumstances are when they buy it. We tell them that, and they go in here and act like they didn't hear that before. But you just got to it's on the plat, and they make sure we put enough notes on here to cover it. But they just have to realize that there maybe other issues down the road.
these people wouldn't get into a situation unless they wanted to come in and put on like a 2,500, 3,000 square foot pole barn, and they might do that, but if that permit comes through, it gets caught by Sarah and flagged, and then county engineer and building permit office, they kind of take a look at it and work with that applicant to do like a typical detail for a rain garden per se to take care of MS4, but we see those situations come in where residential homes and activity do trigger MS4 sometimes, but it's looked at on a case-by-case basis.
Okay. Planning Commission members, do you have questions?
I'm just glad they didn't request a variance, you know, because typically when a lot of times we see people want to go below the required.
But they're over 2 acres. There
Yeah.
were no variances we needed. Really, all the lots were over that.
That's right.
So-
Yeah, I say, but typically
You would see it,
they will
yeah.
come in and, you know, they request a variance. So I was kind of happy that there was no variance
What's
requested.
no variance?
And ma'am, I'm prepared to make a motion.
Prepared to take it.
All right. I just accept staff recommendation of approval of the preliminary final plat.
Motion of Mr. Gokenhour, second Mr. Goff, to accept staff recommendation, and that is to approve the preliminary final plat for Century 2 LLC. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you very much.
This is a different look for your plats, Mr. Everninsky. A little hard hearing tonight? I said, this is a different look to your plats.
I know. I had a little help on that one.
Oh, okay, all right.
I gotta mix it up every now and then.
I got you, okay, we just have to make sure, let you know we know, we're watching.
I gotta keep you guessing. I can't.
No guessing, just questions, lots of questions. Okay, staff, council, anything?
I move to adjourn. There's nothing else.
Let the record show that there's no one to speak for anything, and we're ready to go. A motion by Mr. Goff to close public hearings and to close out the meeting, right?
Second.
Second by Ms. Norton. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the meeting is adjourned. It's 6:23.